Hi, my name is Darshan Lokhande, and today I'm going to be covering this question on CodeChef, which goes by the name of Grid Game. Okay, so yeah, so this question, let me just read out the question first. Uh, the question here says that Bhima and Arjuna are playing a game, and in the game, Bhima gave Arjuna a grid A of size n cross m. So yeah, so we have a matrix of size n cross m that is containing n rows and m columns. Cool. Then it's given that some Q queries are asked to Arjun, which Arjun has to answer correctly. Okay, and in each query, uh, Arjun is given two coordinates, a comma b and x comma y. So let's see what the queries are. So Arjun has to tell the sum of the elements of the grid which lies within the bounds of these given coordinates. That is the sum of the elements within the coordinates a comma b, x comma b, a comma y, and x comma y. Can you help Arjun win the game? Okay, so before we go to the input constraints and everything, I want to make sure that you have understood the question. So, uh, as it is a matrix question, what better way to illustrate it than Excel? So, yeah, so I have a sample matrix over here, and the question is something like this: that you are given a matrix. Let's say this is a 4 by 4 matrix. So let's say you are given a 4 by 4 matrix and some coordinates, some a comma b coordinate and some x comma y coordinate. So the coordinates given to you will be the opposite coordinates of a rectangle. So essentially, you have to find the sum of all elements present in that rectangle. For example, if I take a small example over here in this matrix, um, uh, let's take the numbering like this. Like, so these are the rows and columns. Okay, so if I give you, let's say 1 comma 1 and 3 comma 2, or let's say 2 comma 2. So for a small, let's take a small example. So if I give you a query, let's say 1 comma 1 and 2 comma 2. So the rectangle in question will be this, right? Let me mark it with green. Okay. So essentially what you have to do is you have to find the sum of all these elements. And so here the answer will be very simple, right? 9 plus 1, 10, 10 plus 11, oh, what will it be? 10 plus 11, 21, 21 plus 13, whatever it sums up to, right? So that will be the answer for this rectangle. So, but that, that will not be the case every time, right? You can be given any rectangle. It can be this, it can be this, it can be this. There are many possible ways, right? So coming back to the question, um, yeah. So the input will be pretty simple. There will be t test cases. In every test case, you will be given the size of the matrix n cross m, and then the matrix follows standard input, and then you will be given q queries, and in each query there will be four space separated integers a comma b and x comma y, right? So and for each query you have to just output the sum in a new line. Cool. So looks pretty simple, right? If you're familiar with coding and all, easily by using for loops, nested for loops, you can compute this sum. But what makes this question, you know, little tough or special is that uh, we'll get to know it when we see the constraints. So yeah, so seeing these constraints, it's pretty sure that the matrix can be maximum of the order 1000 by 1000, that is 10 to the power 6, right? And each element can be maximum 10 to the power 8. So uh, if my calculations are right, if you if if you take the worst case scenario, that is all elements are 10 to the power 8, then maximum sum that you can obtain is 10 to the power 8 into 10 to the power 6, which is 10 to the power 14. So storing the number isn't going to be a problem. Even in the worst case, we can easily use long int or similar uh, type in some other language. I'll be using C++, so I'll be using long int, so that will suffice. And yeah, so this thing, queries, there are 10 to the power 5 queries. So let's say in worst case, the setter wants me to traverse each and every element in the matrix. So that will be 10 to the power 6 elements, 10 to the power 5 times. So that will be 10 to the power 11, which is way beyond our limits. As we know that the time limit given is 1 second. So max computations we can do is close to 10 to the power 8, right? So So yeah, uh, at this point the question and the constraints are pretty clear. So it's obvious that we just cannot simply add these elements one by one for each query. For example, if I'm given this query, this yellow, right, this rectangle, if I'm given as a query, I cannot simply one by one add 11, 7, then 7, then again 4. I have to be smart to answer the query in less time, right? So yeah, at this point of time, I would like to mention that if you haven't tried this question on your own by now, you can pause the video for a minute and give it a thought, and maybe come back later and resume it. Right. So let's start with a simpler question. This question is for a rectangle. What I ask you is, what if the question was for a 1D array? Let's say we make a small 1D array here. Um, let's make a small 1D array like 2, 3, 5, 4, 1, 4, 2. Okay, and let me give the numbering over here. 1, 2. Okay, so these are the indexes and these are the elements. Okay, so this is my I and this is my A of I, right? So what if I gave you some query, let's say uh, L comma R, and I ask you to find the sum of the elements of this array, right, from index L to R, both inclusive. This seems a pretty standard question. Also, here also we may try brute force by adding all elements one by one, but if we are smart enough, we can store the prefix sum of this array, and this thing can be easily calculated in O1. What do I mean by prefix sum? I simply add all these elements from the left one by one and store them at the index. For example, this is the first element, so here I will store 2. Here I will be storing 3 plus 2, that is 5. Here I will be storing 5 plus 3 plus 2, that is nothing but 10. Here it will be 14, and then here 15 and 19 and 21. Am I right? So this is my prefix array, correct? Um, so let's say I give you a query, uh, 3 comma 5. I want you to find the sum of the elements from a of 3 to a of 5. So essentially these three elements, right? Okay, these three elements. So here I can see the array is very small, so I can orally add up the elements like 5 plus 4, 9, 9 plus 1, 10, right? But what if the array is very big and the number of queries are too much? So I can pre-compute this prefix array once, and for every query I can answer in O1. What do I mean by that? Uh, it's You can observe it here that answering 3 to 5 is equivalent to answering 1 comma 5. That is, I sum up all these elements, and then I subtract these elements, so the resultant will be 3 to 5, right? And what I have stored in the prefix array is exactly the same. So what I can do is, given L comma R, my answer will simply be equal to pre of R minus pre of L minus 1. Let's see if it works here. So I have pre of R as 15 minus pre of L minus 1, that is pre of 2, that is 5. So, okay, so we know that 15 minus 5 will give us 10, right? Which is supposed to be our answer. 10. That is supposed to be our answer, right? And as we can verify from here, 5 plus 4, 9, 9 plus 1 is again 10. So, yeah. So this is a simpler question. So can we store something like this in this similar fashion for our 2D matrix, right? So that is the question. Uh, of course, if the question was on 1D array, it would have been simple, but life is not so simple. We have been given a 2D question. So let's think on what we can store for this 2D array. Mm, what if I was given, let's say my array, my query in question was this one, this yellow one, right? So what there's one way that pops up in my mind, which says that for each of these rows, for each of these rows, I compute the prefix array in this fashion. Okay, so for this row I compute the prefix array, for this row again I compute the prefix array, and for every row I compute the prefix array. And then my question will be divided into like some number of rows, and for those rows the question will be similar to the 1D question, right? But again, as we have seen, the number of queries are 10 to the power 5, and by verse the setter can try to give me a test case wherein I have to traverse all 1000 rows in every for every query. So that's not good, right? That will take my complexity like out of bound. It will be very high. So let's not worry about the complexity now. Let's worry about what we have to store for this 2D array. So we have to store something, right? Some kind of prefix array, or some kind of pre-computation, right? So what we can come up here with is, uh, let me give you a hint, or let me help you here. So yeah. So what if someone magically gave you, if I someone magically gave you the sum of 1 comma 1 and any point of your choice? So what if the query was always of the type 1 comma 1 and some other point? So for example, the this is a rectangle of the which satisfies that 1 comma 1 is always a part of it, of or else this, or else this, or else like something like this. So what if for every point you magically knew what is the sum of the rectangle starting and ending at that point and starting at 1 comma 1? Will it help? Let us see. So let's try to build a prefix array which gives us that kind of thing. So here we see that for this the magical array, okay, the magical array will be something like 9. For this it will be 9 plus 13, so it will be 22. Here it will be 22 plus 5, which is 27, and then here it will be 29, right? For this position it will be sum of all these elements, right? Not these elements plus these elements, all these elements from 1 comma 1 to that. uh, yeah, so if we do it something like this, then it will be 9 plus 1, 10. Okay, 9 plus 13, it's already 22. 22 plus 1 is 23. 23, and again I'll think it will be 34. uh, So in this fashion, if you fill the array, the magical array will look something like this. Okay, I have it already filled up for you. So yeah, so this is the magical prefix array that I have built from my given array. Okay. By the way, if you are wondering from where I've got this array is the same as given in the sample test case in the question. So don't worry, when we'll be solving the sample test cases, we'll be referring to the same figure again. So yeah, so now that we have calculated this magical array, let's try to find answer for a small test case. Let's say we want to find the answer for this rectangle, this submatrix of the bigger matrix. So let me just highlight this one here. I'll just, okay. So yeah, so what information do I have about about this matrix? So yeah, so these numbers are not helping me directly, but if I see carefully, this number 73, uh, this number 73 will accounts to the sum of all these elements. Okay, so all these elements sum to 73. That's one thing that I know for sure. But these, so what are the extra elements? So these red elements are the extra ones, right? So if I take this cell from my magical array, prefix sum array, then I just need sum for these four elements. So these are the extra ones. So what if I try to subtract this sum? Okay, so subtracting this rectangle is pretty easy, right? This one, the highlighted one. What I'll do is I'll subtract 46 because 46 accounts to sum of these all elements. And again I'll subtract 19 because 19 accounts to sum of all these elements. But note here that when I'll be subtracting these two submatrices, this submatrix, the one in gray, okay, so this submatrix is getting subtracted twice from my 73, right? So I need to somehow add it back. So what I'll do is I'll add the magical number present at the corner of this submatrix, which is nothing but 10. So let's see if this works out. So I'll highlight the main cells that we are going to need for calculating the sum of this submatrix. So uh, of course this submatrix ends at this position. I'll just number them here instead of saying here and there. 1, 2, 3 and 4. Again 1, 2, 3 and 4. So here I have numbered them, and similarly I can number them here as well. Yeah, so this will be a this one I'll be needing, uh, this one I'll be needing this one, and I'll be needing this one. So as I said, the sum for all these elements, that is 1 comma 1 to 4 comma 3, right, it will be stored in 73. So I'll just write here 73. Here I'll write, I have to subtract this submatrix. Then this submatrix sum is magically stored in this cell, which is nothing but 46. So I have to subtract 46. Okay. Again I have to subtract this submatrix, which is nothing but 19, right? You can add it up to check. 9 plus 6 15, 15 plus 4 19, 19. And these elements are subtracted twice, so I need to add these. 9 plus 1 10, right? So this 10. So I need to add them. So here it's basically 73 minus 46 minus 19 plus 10. What is it? 18. So we got the answer 18 from this magical table. Let's verify it from the actual given matrix. So 7 plus 7, 14. 14 plus 4 is again 18, right? So yeah, this thing is working out. So let's try it for one more example from the sample test case. There is 2, 2 and 4, 4, right? So let me write it here. 2, 2 and here I'll write 4, 4. So again, so the cells in question will be 92. I'll be reading 92. I'll be needing this sum, which is 19. I'll be needing this sum, which is 29. And this element 9 will get subtracted twice, so I'll be needing 9 as well. So my answer will be what? 92 minus 19 minus 29 plus 9, and it is 53. So, and it matches with the given sample output as well. So yeah, so we have managed to find the sum of the submatrix by using this magical prefix matrix. But how do we calculate this magical prefix matrix? So it's very easy. If you see, for the first row, it is nothing but the prefix sum, right? If we find the prefix sum for this 1D array, it will be 9, then again 9 plus 13, 22, and again 27 and 29. And once we have this prefix array for the first row, what we need to do is, let's say we want to find this number. How did we come up with 34? So 34 is essentially sum of all these elements, right? So I'll need the prefix sum, this prefix sum, and this prefix sum. So what I'll do is, in 22 I'll add this prefix sum. So while iterating for each array, while forming the prefix matrix, what I'll do is I'll keep finding the prefix sum for each array, for each 1D array, right? And if the row number is greater than 1, then I'll add that prefix sum to the corresponding above cell and store it in the current cell. So here I have 1 plus 11 is 12 and 12 plus 22 is 34. So yeah, in this fashion we can fill in this whole matrix, and once we have this magical matrix, we can find sum for any submatrix. And coming back to the first query, um, what happened there is, uh, what if the rectangle involves something like this? Uh, Sorry, something like this. Okay, so what if I have to find? Let me change back this to normal. Okay, so what if I have to find answer for this? So I'll use 92, good thing, but then there's no cell above this, right? So what will I be subtracting? So for that, what we'll be doing is, we'll be padding this whole imaginary matrix by zeros, so that it helps us in the computation. So it will be something like, we have the actual matrix in, which is one based indexing, right? 1 comma 1, 1 comma 2, it's one based indexing, and this whole matrix will be padded by set of zeros. So I'll take 92, I'll take this 0, I'll take this 19 for this matrix, and I have to again take this cell, which is again a 0. So yeah, so in this way we'll ensure that for any query given, we are not accessing any out of bound index in this prefix array. So yeah, without further ado, let's start writing the code. I think that will be the most simplest part of this whole exercise. uh, so yeah, so I actually remember the input format, but for you guys I'll be reading it again once. So it's just t test cases, and again n cross m, and again standard input, and followed by q queries. Okay, so yeah, so I'll be using long int, and I have some macros and some hashtag defines over here. So uh, of these I'll be just using the ll1 because it's easier. Ll stands for long int in my code. I'll not be using my rest of the macros. So yeah, so I have llt cint, which is my number of test cases. For each test case I have my n cross m, right? Then I have to form my matrix. I'll be using one based indexing, so better make it n plus 1 cross m plus 1. And I'll be needing a prefix matrix as well of the same dimension. So again n plus 1 and m plus 1. So yeah, let's take some input now. So I'll be needing some iterating variables. Let's name them ij. So yeah, now that I've taken the array, now comes the number of queries. And before taking all these queries, I have to do some pre-computation here. So this is my input array, this is my pre-computation, and then we'll be going with my queries. So let's do the pre-computation part here. So as I mentioned, for the first row, it's going to be simply the prefix sum. But initially, we need to make sure that the matrix is padded by the extra zeros that we were talking about in this figure right here. So, and as we'll be filling this matrix like from left to right and top to bottom, um, so we'll be initializing all the elements in this array by 0. So that thing can be done over here separately. So now that I've initialized all my elements with 0, I don't need to worry about these padding elements, as I'll be only filling these elements and these will essentially remain 0 at all times. Cool. Coming back to the code, sorry. Yeah, so what we'll do is we have to again write a for loop. uh, uh, for saving some time, I'll just copy paste this syntax. And for so this represent my rows, right? So for each row I need to maintain a variable that stores my prefix sum up till my jth element in that row. So I'll make a variable sum, and while I'm iterating the elements in that row, I'll increment it with the current element. Cool. Now we have to fill this prefix sum in my pre-array, right? My pre-computation array. So as we discussed, if it's the first row, we as it is store the prefix sum, or else we store the prefix sum plus the value in the above cell. So uh, so pre of ij is going to be sum of ij, sum for sure, right? And just we need to ensure that if if we are in the second or higher row, then we need to add this value of the above cell. So what we can do is, if my I is greater than 1, then pre of ij is my, we add the above element. So that's like this. So yeah, so this way we have completed calculating the pre-computation part as well. Okay, so now we have the pre-computation part. Now we have the queries. Now how to output it? So a, b, x, y. So if you see the constraints, it's given that a is less than equal to x and b is less than equal to y. Essentially meaning that whatever rectangle they'll be giving you, this thing, this will be a comma b, and this will be x comma y. So my answer, so I will just figure out what these four elements are going to be for the general case. So these red elements are the ones I need for my final answer. So as soon as I have a comma b and x comma y, I know all these four elements values, right? I can just access them in O1 from my prefix array, from my pre-computed array. So what I need to do is I just need to make sure that I take this value, I subtract these two values from this, and then I add this value to compensate my uh, uh, multiple subtraction of these the, these elements, these above elements. So we'll just code it over here. Just don't forget to format the answer. That is, we want to output for each query in new line. So yeah, we have our code ready. Let's, without wasting time, test it for the given input. Okay, so I hope this compiles. Okay, this compiles good. Let's run it. And we have our answers as 28 and 53. Cool. It matches with the given sample input output. Before submitting it on CodeChef, let's try it for some trivial case. Let's say 1 comma 1, just 1 comma 1. So I'll just run it again, and so yeah, it works. I changed the second query to just my first element, and it works because it's giving me the sum 9. So without wasting time, let's do one thing. Let's take this code and paste it on CodeChef. What's best way to check the code, right? Just submit it. And I hope this works. And we have a correct answer. So yeah, oh, the confetti as well. Um, so yeah, that was about this question grid game. I hope you have understood by now that whenever given submatrix queries on a matrix, you'll be able to apply some algorithm or some pre-computation, smart pre-computation similar to this fashion, the one we have discussed right now for this question. Uh, in fact, before uh, ending my video, I'd like to tell you about one more question which involves similar theory or similar concept. You can find it on LeetCode by the name of maximal square. So here it's a simple question again, that given a 2D matrix of a binary matrix, find the largest square containing only ones. So you can solve this question again by similar method. Okay, so that's for the follow-up, and I hope you understood my solution pretty easily, and I think that will be it. Thank you.